Aloha, and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from the Love Room in Hawaiian beaches on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Yay! Thank you so much for joining. This will be my last in-person Wisdom Dialogues until January 14th. Or, my bad. This will be my last online Wisdom Dialogues until January 14th. I will still be in person every Monday. It just so happens that Tuesdays aren't working out for the next 3 weeks, but I will be in person every Monday. And you know what? Right after I record Monday's session, by the next day usually, it's on all those podcast stations. So you still be able to get podcasts, fresh podcasts each week after Monday. And I think all of you are covered no matter what kind of podcast station you're into, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, whatever, iHeartRadio, and a lot more that I don't remember. So you can get them there. You can get them there. And then I'll probably be posting random podcasts because then I don't have that extra 1.5 to 2 hours to share with you. And it seems like stuff that needs to be shared just needs to be shared, whether I'm having a formal session or not. So that's most likely where you're going to find it, because it's just easy for me to do an audio. I mean, I can do video too. This audio just seems to flow. So check it out there if you're looking for some wisdoms over the holidays. Yay. Or come to Wawa. I'm in person in Wawa every Monday. Yay. Yay. Thank you. What will it be today? This is so exciting. Ooh. Attachment. Okay. Let's just go back to what is attachment? Attachment is a feeling. It's a feeling. It's a fear of losing something. It's a fear of not getting what you think you want, or having something change, or having something not change. It's just a longing. Oh, I want that. I need to have that. I need that. Anything like that. And, you aren't capable of getting attached to anything. That's what I mean when I say it's a feeling. Okay? The feeling arises for me too. It's just that I know that it's not me. It doesn't mean that I'm attached to something. The sense of attachment is a feeling sense. It's a body sense. It's something that's passing. I don't have to identify with that. I don't have to make it be about me. How do you break up attachments? You don't, because you don't have to. It's just really so simple. You don't have to try to break any attachments. You just be there to witness as the witnessing principle, and the attachment gets undone by itself. There's nothing holding it to you. There's not belief in the feeling pointing to something that's true, that's why. The feeling isn't pointing to anything that's true. It just shows that you have identified with the illusion. So hooray! I feel attached. I know what that means. And I know it's for fun. I know it's part of the ride. It's a ride. Same thing goes for jealousy. Any kind of condemnation where you feel condemning of another person, a sense of guilt, a sense of fear. It's a body sense. So detachment, which I don't mean as the opposite of attachment. I don't mean it as the opposite of attachment. I would say the opposite of attachment is unattachment. So it's like you think you need this certain thing and then you find something else, or you see some evidence that tells you you don't really need it anymore. Or this person, you're attached or unattached. Okay. So detachment isn't really the opposite of that whole scenario, whole little dance, attachment, unattachment. Detachment is more like you took a step back and now you see it from another perspective. You see it from a different point of view. Okay, you see it from a different point of view. You are detached from that point of view. And, you know, I've heard from people who say they got detached from one point of view only to get attached in another point of view, like I'm guilty for having been there. I'm guilty for having been attached. And it's like, just keep on detaching from the ego thought that tells you something. Even I've been in that. You haven't been in any attachment. It's been occurring to you like it's playing on a movie screen. And it's like a trick. It's just like a trick. You can say you've been tricked. You thought you were in it. You weren't in anything. You never change. None of this stuff ever touches you. Okay. And you don't have to try to get from attachment to detachment anyways. You don't have to try to do that. It happens naturally for you. When you sense the attachment, be glad that you're aware of it. Offer some gratitude that you're aware of that. Yay. Ooh, I feel that. Thank you. You know, everything's fluctuating and changing. Everything's fluctuating and changing all the time. That sense of attachment to a person, place, or thing could change the next instant. Be open to it. You'll see it. When it doesn't change, it's because you don't really want it to change. You want that attachment. It gives you identity. And you want identity because you're afraid of your real identity. Thank you too, my love. I appreciate you. So all these defense mechanisms are built up to try to keep you in a state of wanting the attachment. You're only getting what you want. You're only seeing whatever you want to see. You may say, oh, I don't want that. I don't want this poverty. I don't want this sickness. I don't want this meanness. I don't want this oppressive government. Whatever it is. So if you know right now that you don't want these things, then are you willing to give up the identity that you made? Because the identity that you made comes with all these things. The identity that you made up comes along with all these things. Sickness, meanness, death, I don't know, you name it. Attachment, jealousy, greed. Why are you afraid of your true identity? Well, you're afraid to know what your true identity is because you know, underneath the illusion of this world, you believe that you separated yourself from your true identity. you don't have that identity anymore. And if you try to go back to it, you're not worthy of it. You're just going to annihilate yourself. You can't, it's like you can't go back to that. So you're trying to forget about it. It's like you can't go back to it, but you can. You actually never left. That's the thing. You actually never even left. The process is just about restoring your mind to sanity, because as soon as you had the thought that you separated yourself from reality and you believed in that, you went insane. Temporarily insane. Totally curable insanity. Completely curable. Let me make sure my volume's off here. Never even laughed. Off. Boom. Fear of non-being. Yeah, you could say it's something like that, Yulia. It's as if, you know, it's not something that can be conceived exactly from this perception, from this density, you can say. But it's fear of annihilation. Yes, non-being. Non-being. But, you know, the funny and interesting thing is, upon your return, you're just going to be so welcomed. Upon your return to sanity, you're not going to get the idea that you don't belong there. So just that idea that you don't belong there, you ruined it. You screwed it up. It's never going to be the same. That's the idea. That's the idea, and it's totally false. But you believed in that and continue to believe in it over and over again. As you watch the manifestations arise and watch how you re-believe in it over and over again, you'll take on victimhood in a second. I know, because I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from experience. It's funny. I'll be watching myself taking on victimhood and just enjoying the show. And, you know, it drops itself. It just drops itself. It's fun that way. It's fun. When you're watching it, you know what it is. It heals, and it makes it so that it has no effects. When you're watching it and you know what it is, it has no effects. You know you're choosing. You know, when you know that you're choosing the illusion over truth, when you're knowing that, when you're aware of that, guess what? That is choosing the truth, because it's choosing awareness. Just watch. I say that because I grew up in an atheist environment, and it used to scare me so much that I was going to not be one day, just not exist, not be aware, and that this was going to happen to everyone. Yeah, that's that's pretty scary. And, you know, the atheist is trying to accept that. The atheist is trying to accept that. But you know what? It's unacceptable. That's why there's so much suffering. It's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable to your mind. You can't reconcile that with the truth of your being. And you know, every upset feeling that you get is because of the denial of the truth of your being, from denying the truth of who you are. Every sense of upset that you get. And, the religious person doesn't fare any better for the most part, because so many religious people believe in good and bad and hell and all that stuff. And that's a burden. That's hard. That makes it hard. That makes it a struggle. That makes for upset feelings and not knowing where the upset feeling is coming from or what to even do with it. But you can go beyond all of that. You can go beyond the idea of not being. And the idea of there being good and bad. It's ridiculously simple. I say the same thing all the time. It's just that, the ego conditioning is so prevalent. Most of the thoughts are those ego conditioning. And you get more and more of that. You get more and more of that every time you talk to someone. You get more of the ego conditioning. Watch the news, go to the doctor. You get that ego conditioning all the time. So, if you really want to return your mind to sanity, and you would be willing to forsake everything to return your mind to sanity, just forsake whatever thought it is that's arising to you, appearing to you right now, and let love in. Every kind of little worry, every kind of little concern, every kind of thought about this life, every thought about this life is making more. Every thought that pertains to this life is making more. It's like generating more thoughts. So when you see a thought, when a thought occurs to you about the world, isn't it something to get afraid of or anything? When a thought occurs to you about the world, just look at it from the perspective of, this thought is meaningless. And you don't have to keep pursuing it. It can just occur to you and go. You're going to get a lot of space that way. You're going to have a lot of downloads that way. You get downloads that way because your mind's not occupied with the past and the future, which is basically all that's going on. It's the past and perceivable future playing out in your perception all the time. Aloha, I love you. Thank you for your comments. If you comment on Facebook, I'll see it. So you can ask me questions there. You can join me on Zoom. Yay, I love you. And thank you to all my peeps here on Zoom. I appreciate you. True, religious people are terrified of death too often. LOL. Yes, and everyone's terrified of death. And at the same time, everyone's wishing for death. It's very interesting. This perception, this perceived world is predicated on a death wish. It's a trip. Watch whenever you get triggered. If you look through the triggers, let me tell you what I mean by look through the triggers. Trigger arises for you. Say it's jealousy. Trigger arises for you. You get super curious, almost scientific about it. You want to know what that feeling holds for you. What kind of gifts does that feeling hold for you? Okay? When you get to the bottom of it, it's a death wish. It's killing. Even if it's mild frustration, it's killing. Okay? And so there's this wish for death and fear of death, and none of them have anything to do with you. They have nothing to do with you. You could just let them rise and pass, the fear of death and the wish for death. If you recognize every upset feeling as a wish for death, you're not going to be motivated to follow the thoughts that support it. You're not going to be motivated to. Every upset feeling is a wish for death. How many will remember that the next time they're triggered? All you have to do is recognize that. It falls away on its own. You don't have to do anything. What are downloads? Okay, in that respect, where I said you're going to get a lot of downloads, if you're not following your thoughts because you know that they're totally meaningless, all your thoughts about the world, you're going to start getting all kinds of thoughts that pertain to the law of love. You know, it's like realization. It might be a visual. For me, it comes a lot in words, although I started to get a visual recently, where I just felt a comfort and looked, and there's a person, an image of a person that's not really there. So that's awesome. That's fun. But you know, downloads, it's like information that you weren't, so maybe you were aware of it, but you weren't completely aware, what you weren't as aware, and in more awareness, it's like opening more awareness. Mine comes a lot in words. Words will just come to me. A lot of the times I type them onto Facebook. When I'm looking at my book and I'm playing around with my book, definitely words just come. And it's like an open channel. It's almost like an open channel because your own thoughts aren't there to distract you. So it's like the Lord can speak to you. Let's say it like that. So, you know, for me, no part of my life is important enough for me to close the channel, as in get involved in thought, in worldly thought. None of that stuff is important to me, important enough to me to close off my channel. Is that true all the time, every single second? No, but when I notice when that is not true for me, it hurts, and I'm back very soon, because it doesn't feel good. It's like, whoa, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. And I know I deserve what I want. It's just that I know, you know, to say that I know I deserve what I want. I can say that because I know that nothing that I seem to want in the world is even worthy of me, and I don't want any of that. Even any preferences that seem to be my preferences that arise for me, I know they're passing preferences, so it's okay. It's okay. Passing preferences. I may find myself motivated to move toward a passing preference. That motivation is also passing. The image of myself on the screen moving toward it is also passing. So that can just occur. It actually occurs without my involvement. I can still keep my mind focused on what's really meaningful to me and what's really true for me. And that's the one true desire, to restore our shared mind to sanity. Okay, that doesn't mean I have to be doing anything in particular, because doing is not anything that has anything to do with anything real. It doesn't mean I need to do anything in particular. All it means is I'm acknowledging illusion as such and not using it to make more illusion or deny reality, but using it to undo the sense that reality's been lost. Anastasia, how does turning another cheek? I think that said turning the other cheek, but it probably means the same thing. Turning another cheek, it's experience from the point of view of consciousness relating with thought. Okay, so I've said before, in a dream, which this is a dream. How do you know it's a dream? Because you can get hurt, for one. There's death. That's a real easy one. Is there death here? You're dreaming. Is there threat? You're dreaming. Okay, so we got that established. In dreams, you are as consciousness relating with thought. So you're like the whole consciousness, all the thoughts of separation, basically. All the thoughts of separation. And also the thoughts that relate to truth, because consciousness is given to you because you wanted separation. Consciousness is the first thought of separation. I separated myself from reality. And then it extrapolates from there. So once consciousness was set into play, you were given another, almost like a pillar of thought. I go like this because it seems like it's vertical, like a vertical line. Like if you go over here, you just go whoosh, whoosh. So you're given that kind of pillar of thoughts that speak to the truth. It'll bring you out of those fear thoughts. Just shift your awareness out of those fear thoughts and also undo those fear thoughts. It neutralizes those. So there's consciousness relating with thought. So thought arises, say it's an attachment thought. How do you know there's an attachment thought? You can sense that you feel a longing towards something. So you sense that you feel a longing towards something and recognize right there that your consciousness, in this dream, your consciousness, and in consciousness you can make a conscious choice. You can make a conscious choice. In that choice, you have a choice whether to take that attachment, that sense of attachment, as if it means something. That's all, as if it means something. If you see that it doesn't mean anything, then it doesn't mean anything. If it seems like it means something to you, you can ask for another interpretation. Are you asking? Ask for another interpretation. No, I just know I have to have that. That's the ego, not wanting to ask for another interpretation. Yay, welcome. Thank you. Aloha, everyone. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Please raise your hand if you have any questions, or write to me like Anastasia just did. Also, people are structures of thought. People are structures of thought. You're not seeing them clearly. You're seeing thought. You're seeing your own thought reflected back to you. Okay? So whenever you relate with a person, you're relating with your own thought. Okay? Why do you want to relate with your own thought? Because you didn't want to be who you are anymore. You were afraid of being who you are, being that bad. Now that you separated yourself from reality, you think you're bad, you're dirty, you're unworthy of heaven. So you're going to be given these people coming to you in all different ways so that you can relate with your thought. And in relating with your own thought, you're giving yourself opportunities to see that it doesn't have any meaning for you. And the person in front of you, the person that seems to be giving you, that's really you. Underneath what you painted over them, the thoughts that you painted over them, that you're projecting onto them, is another way of saying it. Underneath those thoughts is you. So any kindness or unkindness that's shown to that person is really being shown to your own mind. And that wish for death is being replayed over and over again every time you act unkind. And you only act unkind because you think unkind thoughts. And how do you know if you're acting unkind? You can feel it. Put your attention into your body sense. Some people call that the inner child. People call that the inner child. For a lot of people, it's really subtle. For a lot of people, they don't even feel it. They have to practice to be able to feel it. One of the things that can be practiced is just breathing, allowing your breath to go down into the belly. For many, the breath never makes it that far. It stops at the chest. All day long, your breath can go all the way down to the belly, unless you're stressed. That's one way to know you're stressed in an instant. Yay. Irina. Yay. Welcome.
Hi.
Aloha.
Aloha. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. It's awesome.
I say my name Irina, but I like your way better. So you can call me
Thank you.
I like it. I like it. So excited to speak with you. It's my first time.
Oh, yay. Thank you. I appreciate you joining.
Thank you. I wanted to share my experience from this morning, and maybe you can like shine the light on it too. So
Okay.
I've been in a little bit of a strange place lately because, I didn't even know you existed. And then, a couple weeks ago, you just pop up in my reality or slash illusion.
Yes, yes.
But and it's funny because at first I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know anything about her, I wish I did. But then I was like, no, I don't think I would have gotten the message, so it's like perfect anyway.
I'm glad it's coming to you at just the right time, as it always does.
Yeah. And so this morning I woke up super angry, like, very angry, irritated. I'm not sure why. And then my first thing, I go looking for things that made me angry, like to make sense of it. I'm like, did I get enough sleep? Because if I don't, I'm angry. I did. So that's not the reason. Like, did I have my coffee? Yes, I had my coffee, not the reasons. And like, I'm not on my period, that's over or whatnot, things like that. And then, I walk my daughter to school. So I was like, honey, like my inner child, like you said, is a little angry today and I have no idea why. And then I kind of let it go. But the question that came up for me is when we feel the feeling, so is the feeling the first thing that comes into our awareness, and then we try to like create a reality around it so we can explain it to ourselves, or maybe draw on it from the past and be like, okay, the feeling in the past was created by this, so that's the truth for me moving forward? Or so I'm confused a little bit how that works. If you could maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the feeling is first, and it seems like you don't have to try to make up stuff. I mean, it just comes.
Yeah.
The feeling is the first manifestation of the false belief that you separated yourself from reality. So the feeling is really any upset feeling, and they come in a lot of different forms just to keep it interesting and keep the illusion looking really real. Any upset feeling is just an effect of the thought that you separated yourself from reality. That's all it is. And whatever you perceive in the world that seems to make you feel that feeling, that's just trying to justify the feeling and distract your attention so you don't know where it's coming from.
No, so I don't need to know where it's coming from. I just got to, it's meaningless, right?
Yes, that's right. You don't have to investigate it or at all. You don't have to like look into the feeling like that. You need to get the feeling effect, which means get that feeling experientially.
In my body. And
Yes.
you mention often that you try to intensify it in your body, and that's how it dissipates. And I find it that I cannot really even get to the point where I can intensify it. When I like look at it And like, I know that I'm about to like allow it to be there. It just dissipates on its own. It's like it knows what I'm doing.
Nice. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect.
It's
So
like, you let me be? Okay, well, you don't need me anymore. Bye.
yeah, it just drops really fast. And then, you'll get lots of learning opportunities. There might be a time period. It's like that's why that saying, this too shall pass.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you'll get different learning opportunities. So there will be other opportunities where you'll get a really intense sense that seems scary to go into.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like every time you're looking at these ones that are easily falling away like that, that's wonderful, because that's kind of like practice for bigger ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the way the illusion works, that it tends to get some more intense point. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's great. That's great. I'm not saying that it has to. That's
Mm-hmm.
been my experience. And that's been the experience of everyone else I've known so far, but it's not like I know everything.
Yeah, well, like I have to agree, because things always ebb and flow for me. And today all is great, and tomorrow I get sucked in again into the matrix.
Yeah, so when you sense that getting sucked in energy, that's where your practice, it's almost like your practice comes into play.
Yeah.
See, now it's kind of like you're an athlete, right? And you've practiced your stuff, and then at the big game or race or whatever it is, the practice is still working for you. So
Yeah, so
yeah, so that's why,
sorry.
like, on those days where it just seems so mellow and everything seems so easy for you, you're still being watchful and not letting yourself get carried away with illusion thoughts is practice.
Yeah, because then when big stuff shit comes in, it's like I've been training for this.
Yes, exactly. And it's going to seem more difficult to apply that practice during that time. But you
Yeah.
know that that's the time where it's the most needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I also like to kind of like welcome it, because hey, I know I'm gonna like come out stronger, or, wiser on the other side. So
Yes, that's it. That's it. Because it's such an opportunity. It's going to show you so much. And the clearer you are going through it, the more gifts you can gather from it, you know.
well, thank you so much for answering my question. I appreciate you.
Yay. Thank you too. I love you.
I love you. Aloha.
Okay. Aloha. Oh, yeah. I didn't ask her if she wanted to be a panelist. That's right, Bob. I didn't ask her. If you want to come on, you want to be on camera, let me know.
Nah,
Oh, she said no.
maybe next time.
Okay, just let me know when you want to.
Okay.
Oh. Just when you think you got it, that's when you go, you don't got it. You don't got it until you cannot hear these words. Or any words for that matter. As long as you're perceiving separation, put the practice into play. Keep a willingness, keep a light-hearted, I mean this, light-hearted willingness to recognize whenever you see a contrasting feeling. Any feeling that's anything less than, let's say, gratitude. Keep a light-hearted alertness for that. That's all the practice is. And recognizing that you don't want that. You don't want that feeling. You don't want that feeling that's less than gratitude, and you don't deserve it either. Then you're open to letting the thoughts go that are upholding it. And as the thoughts are being let go, the underlying cause of it, the sense of separation, is getting healed. When you know where that feeling comes from, when you're sure where that feeling comes from, they're always getting healed. So you're excited about some kind of a upsetting thing or something that seems upsetting to you. I noticed, one really big teaching learning experience for me was when the lava was flowing here, when the, rivers of lava were flowing here. And my place was one of the places that was taken out by lava. There was like 700 places taken out by lava. It ended about a year and a half ago. But yeah, you can go back to videos at that time if you want. If you want, there was one video where it was like, "Oh my God, I've been evacuated for lava." We're doing wisdom dialogues during the evacuation, and all through the time the lava was flowing, and the house getting taken by lava, stuff like that. And it was such a big one because there was this sense of, oh my God, and oh my God, it seems like I'm just about to lose everything, just about to lose everything. And then there was also, yes, this is awesome. This is such a big experience. And I became very curious. That's where I first felt myself to be like kind of scientific. Because I was like really watching my reactions to seeing a line of fire coming toward my place, our family place. And then thinking about all the beautiful gardens and the fairy cabin, and we had all these sweet little paths and food. You could just walk around and pick food and eat food, and seeing, oh my goodness, you talk about attachments falling away. It's like the ego will rise up and go, I miss, I got a lot of that. I miss. And then it's like, I just know what that is. Oh, I know where that goes. No, thank you. No, thank you. It's fun. It's just given to you as if, hey, will you use this to deny your reality? And it really came clear to me, it doesn't matter what beautiful things I seem to have or what beautiful surroundings I seem to be in. None of that even comes close to my goal in all of this. And really, it's all of our goal in all of this, although there's this forgetting. All of our goal in all of this, when we dove into this perceptual experience, it was for undoing the thought of separation. That's why we dove in happily, or happy to be here, because of what it's for. And there's no thing in the world that can make us happy. When we perceive any kind of an upset feeling, it's because we thought there was something in the world that could make us happy. It was so funny too, during the time I was living there, I stayed there for 8 years, watched it grow all around us. At first it was pretty much, a lot of it, like half of it or 3/4 of it was like raw jungle where you had to machete through it. By the time we left, it was beautiful manicured gardens, and it's like this sense of attachment rose for me pretty much after I first got there, because it felt like, oh my God, I made it. Like, how does it get better than this? Oh my goodness, everything's just glowing. It's like perfect, so peaceful, so beautiful, everything. And it was like, there was no motivation to buy insurance. When we first moved there, insurance wasn't available because it's lava zone 1. So you get the sense that there's no, you get this in and out. There's no insurance right now because it looks like a threat. It's glowing and stuff. And then the government will go, no, it's not a threat. Give them insurance. And so once the insurance came, it was really clear to me, like, no, I'm not getting insurance. And, you know, it seemed like it was like all this fear coming up about losing the place. And I didn't want to get insurance to put that fear at ease. It wasn't feeling like it was like, oh yeah, let's just get insurance, kind of like nonchalant. It was more like if I were to get insurance, it would be to put that thing at ease. I didn't want that. I wanted the experience. I didn't realize lava was really coming, but I was looking for the experience of having this fear of losing and seeing through the fear of losing, which did occur for me before the lava flow. And that's why the lava flow is very easy for me. I saw a lot of difficulty that people were having around me. In fact, I was volunteering and up at the, it was kind of like a makeshift home for people. It was like parking lot area with all kinds of tents and stuff like that for people who are evacuated. And noticing, you know, all the suffering is just from attachment to stuff. You know, in our case, no one even died at the lava flow. There's other lava events where, like, you know, I heard about one recently where it just blew off the top and like 13 people died instantly or something like that. But there was like major upset going on about this. And, you know, when people would come, I would just recognize the only reason they're suffering is because they're attached to something that's not even real. They totally just forgot their purpose, you know? So I could feel them, I could feel their energy, and also offer the truth without having to say it to them for the most part. Without even saying it. I mean, they weren't coming to me to talk to me. They were coming to me to get an appointment for a massage. I was the one like taking the appointments for people so they can get a massage. And then while they're waiting for a massage, I'm giving them some essential oil. See? You know, some of them were taken aback when they found out that my place was under the lava too. Because, you know, there is no suffering over it. There was no suffering over it. It was more like woohoo, and you know, let me care for my friends over here and my neighbors over here too, that seem to be going through it. But this attachment to stuff brings up much suffering, and any kind of an event like that, where you have any kind of perception like that, and it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be difficult. For me, it was super exciting. It was like, let me see. I'm excited to see whatever needs to be shown to me. And so then, you know, I find myself in a home that's awesome. It's an awesome home. It's really big. It's sweet. And then things are super different, and it's like no notice or anything, but things are really different. And so I find myself going to my backyard looking for that kind of sun spot. I used to have a secret garden where I could sunbathe naked all the time, kind of looking for that place where I could be in the garden and be with the plants and be alone with my feet in the I was going to say in the dirt, but no, it was grass. Beautiful manicured grass with fruit all around. But you know, so I'd look for a spot here, and you know, I would keep on going out there and looking for the spot, and notice a sense of I'm not getting my spot, and that would also be used. Whatever it is just gets used. I know I don't really need that sunbathing spot. I know I'm not the one that wants it. It's just that there's a bringing up of a feeling like I want the sunbathing spot, and it's not here. So with that feeling coming up, that's where the love comes in. That's where the love is allowed to come in. And, you know, after a while, I just forgot about looking for a sunbathing spot. I just forgot about looking for a sunbathing spot. I found myself going out to the beach more often. You know, and all of that is just bringing us, and it's not even really bringing us, isn't even the word, because it's unfolding before us. It's like directing your attention, directing experiences that they're unfolding before us so that we can come together and heal the mind. You know, if I find myself at the beach, that's where I belong. I belong at the beach. That's where the healing of the mind is taking place, because that's my only goal in it. I mean, sure, I might see, and I might see some sort of preference. Today, when I go to the beach, I hope it's sunny, and I hope people are nice to me, and I hope someone's going to give me some weed, maybe. I don't know. I hope the waves are. I hope the waves are not crashing too much, so I can get in easily, and I hope the ground is sandy today. Once I get there, if I see the conditions are different, any upset feeling arising to me, that's just for taking care of. That's all. All the ideas of me wanting anything are only for seeing through that. And, you know, you could say that that idea of wanting, it's just a thought occurring to you, and it's kind of directional. It's like motivating you in a direction. Like motivating your mind. Let's say motivating your mind, motivating your consciousness to make appearances of your body moving in a direction. Yesterday, someone asked me, well, if you don't believe that any medicine can cure any sickness, why would you go to the clinic and get that antibiotic? And it's like, I didn't go to the clinic and get an antibiotic. That's not how it is. It's an illusion occurring to me. It's an illusion occurring to me. So as I'm taking this topical antibiotic and rubbing it on apparent staph that seems to be forming on my leg, I'm recognizing that this is a dream. There isn't any staph. There isn't any antibiotic to put on it. See? That's where the mind tends to get tripped up with understanding no illusions affect on other illusions. You know, you can break it down to something really simple like, you know, washing yourself doesn't really get you clean. It doesn't. It doesn't. That doesn't mean you stop washing yourself and hope you're going to perceive yourself as clean. You could if you want. It doesn't matter. You're going to be a stinky fucker and not a lot of people want to hang out with you. But, you know, if that's your path, blessed be. It's perfect. So if you're going, well, I know that that antibiotics really can't take staph away, so therefore I'm going to boycott the doctor. You're trying to make illusions true. That's one way of trying to make illusions true. Okay? It's like doing is real. Like you can really boycott something. Like you can really make that kind of choice. You think you make a choice. You get the appearance that you just made a choice not to go to the doctor. You cannot make that choice. And when you think in terms of right and wrong, good and bad, you're shirking your responsibility. Your responsibility for choosing truth over illusion. You can even say it as choosing eternal life over death. Okay? Isn't that for fun? I know for me, when it breaks it down like that, I just become much more motivated. I'm killing right now if I'm believing in an upset feeling. I'm killing right now. You know, that's really how it is. Making appearances of death. It gets you so unmotivated to try to uphold an upset feeling. But it gets you motivated to let that upset feeling fully express in your body's energy field. And it gives you motivation to offer comfort within that. Yulia wrote to me, thank you so much. Well, thank you. All thanks to you. Thank you for being here. I love you. I keep reminding myself every time, practically every single time, I get an unpleasant thought, feeling, longing. I remind myself, not the truth, see through it, and I catch myself a lot too. Yeah, you start to see that, wow, when I was not aware of this, it was just all day long. It was just playing me out all the time, pretty much. Yeah, all the time. Also catching myself telling someone something is okay and then getting triggered by the same thing myself the next moment. Yeah, isn't that so fun? Yep, and my advice is for myself too. You could laugh about that. Oh, there I am getting triggered about that. How fun. I'm going to run away now, but glad I caught you before the holidays. I love you and always listening. Yay, I love you too. Thank you, Yulia. And you know about the podcast, right? If you have any questions about the podcast, email me because you're going to find a lot there, I think, coming up. That's what it seems like. Everything's going to be there. Yay! I love you. Yeah, if you sign up to get go on the website and go to Wisdom Dialogues. It'll take you, it'll show you like down in the middle of the page, you'll see these 3 different icons of the big 3: iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. And then if you have iHeartRadio or any of those other ones, turn your notifications on. So then you're going to know whenever I post something new and you'll be able to get that. So for 3 weeks, I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. For next 3 weeks, I won't be here on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. doing Wisdom Dialogues online. Just for the next 3 weeks. I will be in person and I will be posting to podcasts. Yay. Thank you, Yulia. I love you. Have fun in all your running. Have fun in all your running around. So let's look at that again, because it's something that isn't gotten super easily. I notice people who come to Wisdom Dialogues, they've been coming to Wisdom Dialogues for like one of them 3 years, still asking me why I would go to the doctor if I know that a medication cannot have an effect on the body. It's the same as, why would I take a shower if I know that washing myself with water cannot get me clean? Why would I eat food if I know that it doesn't do anything? Why would I drive in my car if I know it won't get me anywhere? That's an ego question. That's an ego question. And you know, the ego is totally quieted when you get that. You're not capable of doing anything. You never were. You never were. This world is predicated on the thought of separation. It's showing you a bunch of shit that's not true. The antibiotics seem to take care of the staph. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean that I'm gonna, in my mind, believe and rely on antibiotics to take care of staph. Maybe it's something else that seems to take care of it next time. Who knows? If there is a next time, who knows? That's what seemed to make the other illusion. But that doesn't have to be a concern for me. That doesn't have to be a concern to me. Will the antibiotic take care of the staph? Hey, who knows? Sometimes it doesn't work for people. Other people, I've seen them use something like mud. Some of my friends use mud. Seems to take a little longer. And be kind of messy. You know, it's like, if you speak to the truth, in the illusion, you're going to be made into a hypocrite. So what? That's what the illusion is for. Supposed to. Hope, why are you brushing your hair? You know you don't have hair. Why are you brushing your teeth? You don't have teeth. It's not like that. That's the ego game. I talked to an old hippie not too long ago. He's got some really bad teeth, you know. He's like, yeah, I wish I wouldn't have listened to that advice when I was younger to just like not brush my teeth and not go to the dentist. This doesn't mean to do anything or not do anything. It's not like that. All the doing takes care of itself. But when you subscribe to an idea that you know, like you know how this illusion works, and so now you know, oh, I'm just gonna ignore this staff and watch TV. Something you know, it's over there festering. You feel it crawling on your leg, but you're just like watching TV and stuff because you want to prove that this illusion isn't real. You know, it's like it's the same thing as going, I know I can fly, so I'm just going to jump off this cliff. You know, the same thing like that. I mean, sure, once we have the faith for it, as in we know, we're certain, we also don't see things as solid like that. You don't have to go from standing to flying because there's really like no difference between those. You know, it's like you there's no cliff to jump off of. It's like this world with a dense world with a dense perception arises, comes with it all of these worldly kind of laws, like if you jump off the cliff, you're going to die, kind of thing. If you don't take care of your staff, it's going to spread, kind of thing. If you don't brush your teeth, you're going to have stank mouth, like that. If you don't drink water, you're probably going to start feeling dehydrated. That doesn't mean those things cause those things. See, it's a way of looking. It doesn't mean those things cause those other things. It doesn't mean jumping off the cliff causes the death. Not true. It's a wish for death that causes that whole illusion to be made manifest. It's one thing. It's not sequential. The jumping and the death are a projection. The staff and the antibiotic are the same projection. See? It's just that when you want to be responsible for your own life, when you want to be responsible for choices that you make on the surface, that's where you get a setup. That's where you get a setup for making this illusion real and suffering over your choices. You can't make any wrong choice. Even that old hippie that told me, I wish I would have, you know, in my mind, I knew and I checked it that he hasn't made any choice. He did not make the choice not to brush his teeth. He just thought he was making the choice. So then he was attached to that decision. And he couldn't allow any other choices arise. Any other apparent choices even arise. Justin, my love, so if I'm smelling an unpleasant stank mouth or hippie, that's just an illusion. Yes, it's a projection. It's just a projection. That's right. That's right. All of it is. All of it is. And it's not caused by not brushing the teeth, although it's made to look like that because that's how illusions are. It's made to look like that. It's made to seem like that. So it plays out this sense that you can make a choice. It plays out that there can be a choice made. And all these different images and all these different forms arise in our perception just so that we can see through them. Isn't that fun? And they come in fun, different ways. They come in awesome ways. All different ways. Oh, Lori wrote me on Facebook. I'm at Big Bend National Park. I have tried to join but can't. But I saw this post, so I'm saying hi to everyone. Yay! Thank you, Lori. Everyone says hi. Everyone loves you, even if they haven't met you yet. I have a bunch of new people on here. They'll probably be meeting you soon. Lori usually comes on with me and has all kinds of awesome questions and stories and insight. She's usually my panelist for the whole show. But it's been months now. I think it's been months, maybe a month and a half since she moved into a trailer and went traveling around and sometimes has no reception. So yay, that's fun. That's always fun to play with. And she's getting all kinds of insights. I know it. I know it. I love you too, Justin. Thank you so much. What a sweetie. Every time I see him, he's so sweet and gentle and loving. Okay. And this too shall pass. Next time I see him, he's pissed. No, just kidding. He might be. It won't matter. I still love you. Hope you bitch, the way you said that on Wisdom Dialogues. If anyone thinks I'm a bitch or anything, just tell me. It's good. It's all right. I don't mind. Sometimes I hear that from someone else and I'm like, oh, I wonder why they never said that to me. We're always laughing and having fun together. How fun. I mentioned yesterday, it's like we become friends with each other just so we can fuck up in each other's perceptions. You know? You notice that? If you get close with anyone, you get any kind of closeness with anyone, they're bound to tick you off. See? And then you got a story. Oh, I got a story about her. I have one friend, other friends tell me, he just goes up to you. Oh, you won't believe it. I have this story about Hope. I'm like, oh, that's so good. She thinks she's this, but I know this about her. It's so fun. But that's the thing. It's like, let's be friends so we can piss each other off and see through see through the illusion we're making for ourselves. We're making individual illusions for ourselves, and then we're projecting it onto other people as if they're doing it to us. It's like no one's actually doing anything to you. You're not even seeing them clearly. If you're holding any kind of resentment or unpeace or anything like that, you're just causing suffering for yourself. That person isn't even there. That's why I say, hey, if you have any kind of beef with me, just let me know, because when you let me know, then I can let it flow through my body's energy field. I can feel you. It's also fun when other people let me know, because it's kind of the same. I know I have to hold that. Like when someone says, hey, Hope, this person, like yesterday, someone came up to me and said, hey, Hope, this person, they're really hurt by you. And it's like, oh, that's good to know. Because when I know that, then it occurs to me. Now it's in my perception. So thank you. Now it's in my perception, and I can extend love with it there. I can extend love to that individual who is really me asking for love. See? And it doesn't mean I need to call them. I could find myself calling them or reach out to them in any way. But in fact, I've seen this person and we've been smiling and laughing and hugging every time we meet each other. And so the perception wasn't there until someone else told them, a couple years ago, you did something, that person feels really hurt by it. And it's like, oh, good to know. So yeah, let me know. I'm happy to know. I won't be mad at you. I won't be angry with you at all. I'll be so happy if you tell me something that I did that hurt you in any way, because I love you. Okay? Yay. Whoa. Oh, I just thought I saw a huge question, but it's an older one. Yay. I appreciate you. I appreciate your questions. I appreciate all of your expressions. And you know, at times I might find myself not motivated to be with a certain person at a certain time. Who knows? You may be one of them. I'm not motivated toward that right now. No, thank you. It doesn't mean you are doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong, but I cannot be with everyone all the time, can I? Not in a dream. Not in a dream, anyways. I might be motivated over in this direction. Like, no, I'm not into that anymore. Doesn't mean you've screwed up or anything like that. It's just moving, and that's how it is with everyone, not just me. That's everyone. Even if they think they have a reason for cutting it off with you, for instance, even if they think they have some reason for cutting it off, it's just that teaching and learning, it's just always shifting. It's shifting around. We don't have any reason, really. We might be able to perceive a reason, but that's not the real reason. The real reason is only because that's where the healing needs to take place. The healing isn't happening anymore in that scenario, and it's moving to the motivation is changing. This perceived life is just constantly flowing and changing. And we just flow with it and are not taking things personal, like say, you know, someone isn't interested in going there with us at that time, or they're not interested in working with us on a certain project at this time. It just allows it all to be so easy and free. And you never need to feel like you're guilty if you don't do what a person wants you to do. You know, that's just a projection of guilt, making it like, oh, if I take this away from them, then, you know, just keep on going back into your body's energy field. Make it real simple. Make it all one thing. And then whatever decision arises for you, let that decision be the one, until it could change, though. You change your mind too. Just let it be held. Let yourself be held in whatever you seem to be deciding, because you make no decisions on the surface. That's really the bottom line, is getting out of that identification as if you make any decisions on the surface. And the one really big one for people, big way to get out of that, is to look at how you're projecting for other people making their own decisions on the surface, about how their decisions are right or wrong. Because those other people you perceive, they're really you. That's really talking about you when you're talking about whether they made that decision for themselves, or whether they have a really important decision to make. There are no important decisions on the surface. They come up and seem like they're important. That's only to get a rise out of you. They pop up in seeming importance so that you can get that feeling like you have to know something or do something. You know, when that occurs to me, it's like, ooh, I wonder how that's going to play out. I don't know what I'm going to decide, but I'm going to be surprised about it, just like you, when I see, am I going to go that way or that way? I don't know. But once the decision is clear, once the decision is made clear, then I have an idea about it, but it could change. See how it is? You never have to be stuck to any of those. And don't stick anyone else to it, because whenever you stick someone else to it, you put yourself in fear. You set yourself up for illusions of suffering, illusions of your own suffering. There's no suffering going on in the world. There's no non-peace in the world because the world isn't. There's only appearances of suffering. That any suffering that anyone seems to be going through is a projection. And you're perceiving them suffering, even if someone else is just telling you that they're suffering, as in the example that I just gave. And perceiving someone else as suffering, that's for you to take care of. So you just take care of it. And it doesn't have to distract you from anything else that you seem to be doing, because that's just playing out anyways. You don't need to be thinking about it to have it playing out. Keep focusing your attention on the sense, the feeling sense. If you want to see through it, if you want to see that this world is just energetic and playing out the energetic frequency of thinking that you separated yourself from reality. Do you want that? Do you want to see it like that? Or would you rather see it as real? That's the real question that it comes down to in every moment. You want to see this, what you made, as real, or are you open to seeing reality? You decide, and you always decide between those two things in every single instant. It never stops. That choosing never stops. And when you think you're choosing between things in the world, you're always making the choice against you. You're always making a choice against your spirit when you think you have a choice between things in the world. Do you see what I mean? So if you think you have a choice, let's take the example with the topical antibiotic. If you think you have a choice whether to apply the topical antibiotic, you are making suffering for yourself. It may or may not manifest as that staph gets worse. I'm not saying it's whether you use the antibiotic or not. I'm saying if you think you have a choice in it, and you believe that you have a choice in it and that you're making that choice, you're making instances of suffering. You're making confusion for yourself. And that's the whole reason it's given to you in the first place, is so that you can decide whether or not you are that. Are you that limited individual that's making a choice? Or are you all being, are you the source of all being watching a show? There's a veil of forgetfulness about who you are as you watch the show. That's all. That's all. You're not what you think. But if you want to make choices between two things, should I use the antibiotic or not? If you think you make a choice between those two things, you're setting yourself up for more suffering. So that's all it is. Even when you see yourself making the apparent choice, you're aware that there's no choice that you're making. Choices are only playing out. I'm not making any choices. I'm watching them play out. You see the thoughts as if you're analyzing different thoughts, considering different possibilities. Maybe you're making lists, pros and cons. But all that is just part of the illusory play too. You're not choosing to do that either. You're only choosing between yourself being real or an illusion. Yourself being real or an illusion. Okay? If you're a dream image, making choices between other images in the dream, that makes you an illusion. If you're an illusion, it means you want to die, because illusions end. It's going to get you an upset feeling. Sooner or later, it'll get you an upset feeling. Did I choose right? I wish I wouldn't have made that choice. I wish I would have made that other choice. The thought occurs to me because I see the circumstances now. The thought occurs to me about what if I would have got insurance? And it's like, nope, I don't even know where that goes. I haven't gone there. The thought occurs to me, what if I had gotten insurance for that lava flow? And it's like, nope, that's not relevant. it's just what ifs, shoulds, all those kinds of things. They're just to make fantasy, make more fantasy world, to set up more of these illusions of birth and death, more illusions of conflict, of war. Why go into it? If you find yourself going into it, watch. Watch where it leads. You get the experience enough times to where it leads. You know, I started to experience that maybe like 20 years ago when I had a construction company with my husband. And I just got so afraid of something that I thought I messed up. Like we were just going to be devastated, feeling like we were just going to be devastated financially, and got so, oh my goodness, it was so much pain, and got that over and over again for many years. And after seeing that enough, it's like, nope, I know where that leads. And you know, once you go into it and really get the feeling, it's like the thought can occur to you. It's like, no thanks. Keep on flying by. Then you're light. Your energy is allowed to be light. Who knows what's going to happen? And really, who cares what happens? Who would care? When the whole thing is for seeing through the illusion, I'll tell you what's going to happen. This thing's going to get wiped away. And it's going to reveal what's always been here. This is the dream. Sanity, the real world, heaven is reality. But it's been so turned around that it makes it look as if this is reality. And what I'm talking about has been turned into a dream. That's become the dream, the fantasy. Oh, peace, heaven, that's all just a fantasy. I remember when I first started practicing yoga, it was probably like almost 12 years ago. And at the end of this yoga, you would project for peace on earth. And I was like, no way peace. There's no way having peace. Peace on earth? What? There's always going to be some fucker fighting. But now it's the same yoga. Now I can really sense it. It's like, where is earth anyways, but in the imagination. And you know, there will be the perception of peace. There will be the perception of peace because there's no non-peace. There's no such thing as non-peace. What we're perceiving of non-peace, that's what's make-believe. That's what's made up. So it's like, It's more like you're projecting for seeing through your painting of non-peace on the world. Not trying to change how people think so that the world will be more peaceful. I have one friend who told me she just knew when she was a kid, she knew how to live and she knew that everyone else was doing it wrong. So her task that she put upon herself was to teach everyone how to be, to teach everyone how to think. Because if they thought like her, then there would be a peaceful, sustainable kind of world where everyone gets along and everyone can respect each other. So that was her job, to teach everyone. And so now, you know, she's gone through some years, gone through playing with that a lot. And what can be observed is people don't want to be around her. And there's just more and more frustration that is built up. And it's the same concept is still being pushed forward, that other people don't know what they're doing. I can't believe everyone's so like this. I need to teach you. I need to teach you how to be this. And it's just like setting up for all this suffering. That's not the way. That's not how it's going to happen. At some point with that mindset, there's going to be the realization that there has to be a better way. At some point, it's a suffering. You know, if you took on a mindset, maybe earlier in your life or a few years ago or whatever, took on a mindset and you're suffering over it right now, guess what? You don't have to keep it. You don't have to hang on to that. You know, people express to me, gosh, I'm suffering so much. I'm in so much pain. I have so much PTSD that I need all these people to change. And it's like, that's not the way. Have you seen that yet? Have you seen that yet? Have you seen the results of that way of thinking? Have you seen how much suffering is coming out of that? How much non-peace, how much conflict between people? Oh, you get people showing up yelling at you. Uh-huh. And it's really devastating for you. It's really triggering for you. Mm-hmm. Do you still want to keep that? That other people need to change and you need to show them how to do that? Do you still want to keep that? And keep that pain around? And it seems to me as people get older, the older people get, the more experiences they've had and the more they've been able to practice their self-concept, the more upset they become. They lose their childlike flair and innocence. They become kind of bitchy and grumpy, just complaining about things. One of my friends told me the other day is, you know, I'm not the only one who doesn't like this person and thinks that this person is a total crazy ass bitch. Everyone else thinks that too. Like pretty much everyone who meets her. Oh, that's really good. That's a good way to set it up. It's not just me, it's everyone in my perception. I'm so justified. Look, all my friends hate Trump and I hate Trump too. So Trump must be an asshole. Right? Trump is you. It's you. If you think he's an asshole, he's giving you a gift. Okay? If you think he's an asshole, that's a gift. It's like you're giving the gift to yourself. He said, Trump, act like this in my perception so I can think you're an asshole. That's what I want. Are you sure that's what you want? Yes, that's what I want. I want you to make it look like, let's see. I want you to make it look like you don't care about global warming and the whole world's going to go to shit because of you. That's going to make for a good show. I want you to do that because that's going to be really convincing, and it's going to be really convincing when I have a bunch of my friends also thinking the exact same thing. And then we can, we could post Facebook memes about how screwed up Trump is, and we can like each other's posts, and we can get really sure that we're right, that you are screwing up. That way, we could either use that to undo the sense that we're capable of screwing up, or we could use it to distract ourselves and project it onto you. Either way, we're in control. So it's not like it's going to hurt us in any way, shape, or form that you're coming around acting like you're going to destroy the world, to whatever the sense is. Blow it up. I don't know. There's always some kind of fear. Now it's global warming. That's the big one. I know because I have kids that go to school. So they come back from school and it's like, Mom, wow, do you know about this? And I'm like, okay. I've been playing this game in this particular individual for like 47 years. And I've seen that shit all throughout. It was always something. Something's about ready to destroy the world. And you know what? That's not a decision that any human can make, whether to destroy the world. Yulia just came back. She did all that running around. It didn't work out. No, the running around she planned didn't work out. Thank you for coming back. All that running around and you're back. I'm glad to see you. Yes, I've been waiting for you the whole time. So there's always going to be something that, everyone needs to be alarmed about. Everyone needs to get alarmed about. It's funny. I started years ago just looking at the news every day to see whatever would raise alarms so that I can, because, you don't have to look for anything like that. The lesson's always coming, but, it's like, news sounds entertaining. Let's check that out. See what it is. And then after a while, I just am just like bored with the news because none of it's giving me any of those triggers anymore. It just gets to be so benign. You have to want the trigger. You have to want it to get it. Once you start wanting to see through it, then you're not going to get the trigger anymore. And like I go visit my mom and my stepdad, and they like to watch the news. And so I'll watch the news with them, and it is just so funny. It's like a comedy. It is like a comedy. I don't see the news on the regular. I don't have regular TV. And I don't like go looking for news for my entertainment. Like whenever I'd look for news, it would be online or something. But I'd be watching the news with my mom and my stepdad, and they're so fun because it'll be like something will come up, and they'll just like go, "Oh God, oh I hate that guy," or whatever. "Oh, this guy's a real piece of work," or something like that. And I'll just be laughing and having so much fun the whole time. And they don't even mind that I'm laughing. They don't even mind. They have fun with it too. When a sweet story comes, "Oh, I just love that." Like every night, it's like going through these emotions. That is really what it is. It's going through these emotions. Nothing's here. It's like an empty thing. It's an empty space. Nothing's here. It's like looking for something to go through these emotions, and it's going through the emotions in the way that they're the way I'm perceiving them going through the emotions. They're not really there. I'm not trying to project onto them. The way I perceive the people going through emotions with a news like that, where it's like, "Oh, that asshole stuff," it's like using it to get temporary relief for the uncomfort that's felt. It's using that to get temporary relief. That's what gossip is for. It's using it to get temporary relief. It gives you a sense of ego relief. It's still coming back again because it's really about you. It's saying it's really about you. How about shows like on Netflix? Still interesting or boring too? I got this show going right now that I'm totally interested in. It's really fun. It's called The Mentalist. I don't know if you guys saw it, but man, it's funny. And the guy's cute. And the Mentalist dude's cute. And it's like a fun, I don't know, it's a fun take on police work. Someone dies in every episode, usually right at the beginning. Someone dies right at the beginning. So it's like to me that's just like comedy though. Like, you know, they're like shoot 'em up kind of thing. And then it's like it's interesting. I guess you could say it's interesting to me because he sees things. He sees things that people are thinking that they think they're hiding. So that's what makes it pretty entertaining to me. And then the other thing is, you know, I start to become fond of the characters. It's really fun. I think it's pretty cute. Because then when the series ends, it's kind of like, oh. And you know, that's sweet too. If there's any kind of a feeling of missing or anything like that comes up, it gets used. So it doesn't matter what it is, it just gets used. Oh, you saw some of it. Okay. Yeah, I'll just find myself in my living room hanging out with my husband and say, want to watch a Mentalist? Yeah. It sounds fun. Yeah. And you know, it's not like I'm opposed to watching the news if that was entertaining to me, but you know, the news is more entertaining to me watching other people watch the news. To me, that's more entertaining. And also, beyond just the entertainment of it, when I perceive someone getting sucked in like that, and I know that it's not true, you know, any kind of feeling of resistance within me, everything just gets extended love. And so that's why, you know, when I visit my mom and my stepdad, they still watch the news every night with me there because it's fun for all of us. They don't mind that I'm laughing at all. You know, they know it's silly. And I don't know if they know that they get sucked into it or not, but you know, either way, it's perfect. I don't have to try to tell them not to get sucked into it or to do a practice. If they wanted to know that and then they asked me, then that would be a different story. But I don't feel like I'm people's teacher, like I need to go around telling everyone. And sometimes when something just pops out of my mouth, like kind of like uninvited, pops out of my mouth, and then I see some defensiveness, it's like, oh, never mind. Yeah, you say something that it's like, oh, forget about that. I didn't mean it. Or I meant it, but doesn't mean anything. Whoops, carry on. Once I was sitting at Island Naturals, our natural food store around here, and I was just having something to eat. There was two guys in front of me, and they're talking really loudly about this other guy in the community. Now, I know all of them. It's a small community. So they're talking really loudly about this other guy. One of them says, "Can you believe it? He did this." "Oh yeah, well he did this to me. He threw a bottle and it broke and it cut me." And I'm like, and all of a sudden I'm eating, right? It's like not even really concerned me, it seems like. I'm like, huh, someone had to do it. And they both looked at me like they were like with daggers, right? And what do you mean? And I go, well, it already happened in the mind, so someone had to play it out, right? And they're like, no. And okay, never mind. Just go back to my eating. Then they continue talking about the person. So it's like you can get out of any of that as soon as you got into it too. But you know, that's a big thing, is people thinking that it's their responsibility to teach other people. That's something I was touching on earlier with one of my friends who, you know, is deep into suffering. And that's by her own words telling me this, deep in it. You know, like, I'm in so much pain that nobody even understands this kind of pain. You know, that's the kind of reflection that I get from something like that. So it's like, it's like, wow, any kind of I need, and I feel that. I totally feel that. Any kind of I need to teach someone something is a total setup for me to go insane, you know. So when I see people displaying some kind of insanity, delusion, anything like that, I do not feel like it's my responsibility to teach them. What's my responsibility is to learn from the experience. Through my learning ends up being the teaching, because it's like love gets extended through your body's energy field. It's like love gets extended into the world, and that becomes the teaching. See, when you're not feeling like you have to teach someone something, you have to get them to learn something, then you're just at a way more calm and even keel with everything. It's like with all of those spiritual concepts that you hear here on Wisdom Dialogues and maybe hear other places. Remember what I say. These words are meaningless. They don't mean anything. Nothing that I say is actually true. I'm speaking to the truth when my channel is open for it. I'm speaking to the truth when I'm not triggered with a fearful emotion, you know, when I'm not frustrated, when I'm not irritated, when I don't think something's wrong, then I could speak to the truth. But if you take the concepts that I share here and try to share them with other people in a way where it's not welcome, you're going to set yourself up. And if you try to share any other kind of concepts, worldly concepts even, about how you think the world should be with other people, many times that is not well taken. If you think they're going down the wrong path or something like that, many times, and you know, just watch their reaction. Just watch their reaction to you. You never have to engage in any conflict. Isn't that nice? Isn't that so peaceful that you never have to engage in any conflict? Never make anyone wrong. You saw it. You saw that delusion. It's your responsibility to heal it from another place, not in trying to teach their mind. Okay? I think we got that, at least for today. There's also a sense of comfort when characters are in trouble and you are safe, apparently, in your experience of it. Yeah, so Yulia's going back to the show, watching shows where in a show on a movie or something, someone's in trouble and you kind of like use that as an escape. So yeah, watch that too. Just be ever so watchful. Even when you find yourself watching a movie, just keep on checking into your body's energy field. How are you using this? This is the way I watch a movie, everyone. It's like, how am I using this? You know, there's an energy to it. There's an energy to it. There's a way of watching a movie from the sense of fear where you're just trying to cover up whatever it is that's making you uncomfortable in your own life. Watch that. It's way more important than the plot of the movie. It's way more important. All you have to do is notice it. You could still be watching the movie and following the plot, because the watching of the movie and following the plot is occurring to you on the screen of consciousness. Since it's occurring to you on the screen of consciousness, you can also be aware of what you're making of it. What are you using it for? See, that's what it comes down to. It's not what you do. You don't have a choice in that. It's what you're using it for. So choose wisely. Yay. And you can't get it wrong. When you recognize that you are making a choice, even when you're making the choice for illusion, when you notice that you're watching the show and using it to cover up an uncomfortable feeling, using it as a distraction, guess what? You're choosing truth in that moment. You're watching, you're aware. Awareness is all. Awareness is all there is. It's the same as love. Awareness is love. Okay? Where does the pleasure come from? Where you want to continue watching and watching and watching, binge watching. I know that energy, and it's the same kind of energy as binge eating or binge smoking or binge drinking. It's self-punishment, okay? The reason it's called binge watching is because it's not actually enjoyable. You're trying to make a fantasy that this is enjoyable. It's not actually enjoyable. That's why it's a binge. Binge is not enjoyable. That isn't. It's non-joy. It's trying to cover something up. That comes from, it's the effect of letting the mind just take over, letting the ego take over the mind, give into lots of temptations to make the illusion true, and you find yourself binge doing things. Binge this, binge that. You know, I hear people saying, like, you know, I got to stop watching so much TV. That thought right there is what will cause binge watching. It's as if you have a choice in it. See, it's so much lighter than that. If you find yourself binge watching, get alert, awareness. Start with just pinch yourself. If you don't know how to become alert, pinch yourself. Put your attention there. Because what's going on when you find yourself in the expression of binge, the expression of a binge, and I know this from watching it. I went through binge eating. Okay? I would all of a sudden became alert to, whoa, what is this motion? Just keep on eating. It hurts to eat. I had one Korean guy when I went for Korean yoga one time. He touched me in some part around my belly or something. He put his hand there, probably touched my stomach. I don't know. But he said, your body hurts and you keep eating. It hurts you to keep eating, but you keep eating. And I'm like, No, the awareness wasn't open enough to see what that meant, but it was like very interesting. It was kind of just like very interesting. And then you know, the awareness starts to take over, the awareness of that. And I'm standing in my kitchen one day and I'm just noticing this motion where it's like, I'm not even tasting this stuff. I didn't try to stop it though. I just watched it. Got very curious about what am I thinking? What am I thinking right now? What is that? What am I feeling right now? What is the feeling? What thoughts are occurring to me? What am I making true right now? That it seems like this can help me. It actually seems like this can help me feel better. Eating a bunch of shit that I'm not tasting. See? And through watching it, it lets go of you. It just lets go of you. You just keep watching it. And it just, you know, you end up to where you can just watch TV in the amount that it's pleasurable. In the amount that watching TV is pleasurable. A show, maybe 2 shows, 3 if that's pleasurable to you. Binge, even the word binge denies pleasure. You know the energy of that. It's not pleasure. Maybe it's more pleasurable to you than getting that feeling that's coming up. Maybe it seems more pleasurable to you than that. But you know, when you go through the feeling, there's so much more pleasure to be had. You're going to find so much more pleasure in everything, even watching TV, even eating cake. Whatever it is, you're going to find more pleasure in having a glass of wine or a tequila or whatever. You're going to find way more pleasure in it and not this need for binging, because the binging is only an effect of binging on thought. Okay? Binging on thought that defiles you. In my experience, it's always tied to trying to control eating, like decide to eat less means more binge eating is likely to happen. My experience too, totally. And then, you know, and then I also noticed after that was done, that the trying to decide to eat less and all that that kind of stuff just doesn't even appeal to me anymore. The next thing I know, I'm thinking really fast and find myself eating about other stuff, not about eating, but about other stuff, just thinking and eating, thinking and eating, thinking and eating. That's how watching TV is. And the same thing you could say with playing video games. You know, I like to play video games on my phone, constantly checking in on what's going on. So you're not just like taken over mentally. See? It's like it seems like you're doing this thing and doing this thing and doing this thing and just getting yourself, all that's happening is you're getting yourself distracted. There's not a problem with it. Just notice it. That's all. It's like covering up some sort of mental background pain or tension. I like how you put that, Yulia. Yep, it is. It's like putting a thin veil over it. It's going to still be there when you get done. You're just going to feel crappier about yourself when you look at it the next time. So that's fun. That's fun to watch. Just watch it play. When you watch it play out enough, suffering brings you there. If you'd like it to go faster, keep listening to wisdom dialogues and anything else like that that appeals to you. I have a shitload of videos on YouTube. You know, if that appeals to you, you can't really binge listen to spiritual stuff, I don't think. Because it keeps on, if you're really listening to it, it keeps on making another opening. But I recommend, you know, especially if you're some of the people who are just starting out here, is to keep an open mind about getting the spiritual, the love infused every day in all of your different activities. Maybe take recordings with you. I make that really easy and free too. Okay. You can take them with you now that it's on the podcast and the videos, and listen, whatever appeals to you. And through that, it helps it to go faster. It unfolds faster. Okay. And I'm only telling you that because you want me to. It's not like you have to do anything. It doesn't have to go faster. One of my friends was telling me yesterday that she sees that she's choosing illusion and she just does not want to get off of that right now. And it's like, it's okay. Just watch that. Because you're just knowing you're choosing illusion is really a choice for the truth, because you're not veiling it from yourself anymore. It's okay. Watch yourself wanting to choose illusion. It's okay. It's got to be okay with you if you do that for the whole lifetime and beyond. The lifetime is nothing. It's like a split second or less in terms of eternity. It's nothing. That's got to be okay with you, because if you're in some kind of hurry, oh God, when is it gonna? You're in less joy. And it's in allowing yourself to be in more joy that actually helps it to go faster and smoother. Okay. Bob, before I wrap it up, do you have anything? I didn't see you today.
Hello, can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Okay, let's see if I can get on video. Am I getting on?
I don't see you.
Well, I thought I had pushed video. Start video. Well, it says it's started. Do you need to do something?
Let me see. Nope, I'm going to make you the host. I think that's been working for me recently when I make someone the host. So I made you the host.
Oh,
now
I'm the host.
Now you should be able to. Yes. You are now. Don't worry, I can reclaim host anytime you screw it up.
Okay, if I start wallowing in illusion, huh?
If you start making a lot of noise over there.
Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes the roosters get wild here. Well, I don't know. It's apparently it's has should be starting. Well, you don't need to see my handsome face anyway. It's gonna excite the women.
Yes,
So,
we don't need to get everyone all excited.
so it seems to me the thing to focus on is true identity. Everything else is superfluous because everything that you're seeing is a reflection of you. It's just like looking in the mirror. Everything is your reflection. It's like you see the pictures of the dogs and cats and animals that look in the mirror and they think it's another animal. And they're
Right.
either afraid of it or they're curious about it or they play with it or they run away from it. And then there's the little girl who's like she's just a toddler barely walking and she looks down at her shadow and she's afraid. She thinks that that's something and she runs away from the shadow and falls and gets back up and sees the shadow again and starts running away from the shadow. So that's the idea of separation, is that you think that it's someone or something out there when it's actually your reflection, your shadow, your projection. So it's like what it's like you say, the world is you, is your projection. What are you making of the world? It's so that's the Christ is seeing the Christ because he has discovered his true identity. He's focused on who he is and his true identity as the Son of God, the child of God, the offspring of God. And so that's the world he creates, the kingdom of God on earth. He sees Christ's children everywhere he goes. So he sees the sin, disease, lack, limitation, and death. He sees that their illusion, sees the truth, and then that's what heals and transforms all of those negative symptoms. So it seems like it's a very easy principle, but it's just so easy to fall into the illusion of thinking there's something out there or something other than you when, like you say, all you have to do is focus on yourself and who am I, and that is the key to it all, it seems.
Yes. And everyone is the self. Everyone is the self. What you see of them is your projection, though. What you
That's
see
just
of
it.
them is not the self. It's non-self. It denies self.
Right. Well, that's if you're just judging by appearances
Yes,
instead of judging the righteous judgment, the Christ judgment, which sees with love.
that's it.
That's the key. Love, which is oneness, seeing the one and only in everyone and everything, God.
Yes, that's right. And then, okay, and I have
So
Julia talking here again. And the unhappiness, oh, unhappiness with your own appearance. I'm noticing that one is constant, constant. And that's where this attempt to control eating and stuff comes from. Unhappiness with your own appearance. Well, that's just a thought of separation again. You know, that's just a thought of separation. So that it'll make you get the illusion that you're unhappy with your appearance. No one's unhappy with your appearance. You are not unhappy with your appearance. You're getting a feeling from the thought of separation, and that's making the illusion that you're unhappy with your appearance. You know none of it's true. I know you know. The whole appearance thing is just not true. Nothing to get out of that one. Yeah, so go into the feeling of this unhappiness with your appearance because, you know, there's that's just one of those things. It tries to make itself like a special one or something like that. But all it is an illusion made from the thought of separation and feeling separate. That's all. It's just feeling separate. Unhappiness with your appearance, also feeling separate. Okay? Yay. Bob, are you complete?
well, yeah, I guess that's just the only separation is this me and not me. The, that there's when you focus on the one identity, the one self, then that's the simplicity of it. It's so simple, oneness, that it misses you. It's like the fish that's swimming in the ocean and it isn't aware that it's in the ocean.
That's it.
It's too caught up in all of the phenomenon and distractions in the ocean. It doesn't know. And so, like, we're in an ocean of awareness. Awareness is the ocean of love that we live in. And we don't realize that, you know, we can see, hear, touch, smell, think, perceive, and those are all avenues of awareness. And so, as you say, love is awareness, awareness is love. And then that's what brings the responsibility, the ability to respond with love and awareness.
Yes. Hooray.
All right. Okay,
Thank
let's
you, Bob.
celebrate our wonderful webinar. So, gosh, 3 weeks it's going to be, huh?
Yep, 3 weeks just for the webinar part. There's going to be plenty for you guys, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, now we can catch up on watching all this stuff, you know, the reruns and the recordings and everything. It's going to be a great opportunity for all of us to do that.
Yeah, if you want to, go for it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Definitely. And you know, and the thing about what I share, it's really, really simple. You'll notice I'm basically saying the same thing all the time in different ways. I'm giving different words and different examples, but I'm basically saying the same thing all the time. And you know, if you're drawn to this, you don't need the complicated things anymore. You don't need the complicated things. It's just like keep it very simple. Make everything one thing, and it'll show itself. It'll reveal itself to you way easier. Make it out one thing, all generalized. Basically, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. The whole thing is an emotional journey. Just an emotional journey. Take each upset emotion and use it for healing. That's all. It's so simple, and it does a lot. Yay. I love you. And you can check out hopejohnson.org, okay? You'll find my family's essential oils there too if you want to get some really good essential oils for yourself for Christmas or for other people for Christmas or whatever. I love you, Yulia. Yay. And you can also support this this event kind of thing that goes on, called Wisdom Dialogues. You can also support it by making a donation. And I'm always open to donations of technical type support because I like to spread it out to everyone who would like to know about it. Yay. Thank you so much. I love you. Mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho.
I love you.
Thanks, Bob.